Hey, what's up guys? This is Andre, and today I will share with you my first impressions about the newly revealed specs of the upcoming Xbox One Scorpio or Project Scorpio. The specs I will give you were published by Digital Foundry, so they are my source and I will link their video in the video description below, so feel free to check it out if you haven't already. Now let's get straight to those specs and what they mean compared to the other consoles. The Scorpio will have an AMD Jaguar CPU just like the One, the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, but it will run at 31% higher frequency than the CPU and the Xbox One, from 1.75 up to 2.3 GHz. So this is kind of on par with the PS4 Pro in terms of percentage, but the interesting thing here is it was stated that Microsoft did a hardware implementation of DirectX 12 directly into the GPU, which will reduce the rendering power of the CPU for DirectX 12 titles by 50%, which is pretty significant as it means that the CPU won't be as much of a bottleneck for the GPU as many anticipated. The CPU bottlenecking the GPU is, for example, a reason why it is for the PS4 Pro not that easy to just run 1080p games with 60 instead of 30 FPS. Assume there is a patch from the game developers provided. Hopefully the Scorpio will be able to achieve that, so that's quite big. It is again confirmed that the GPU will have a performance of 6 teraflops, compared to 4.2 on the PS4 Pro, which means a 43% boost in graphics power over the Pro and more than 350% over the Xbox One. Another interesting fact is that the Scorpio will have 12 GB of GDDR5 memory, whereas the One, the PS4 and the PS4 Pro have 8, from which 5 are dedicated for games. The Scorpio will dedicate 8, which is a 60% boost. But what about those claims of native 4K? Well, at least for the Forza Motorsport series it seems to come true. For other games, we don't know yet. The screenshot you see was captured while an early version of the Scorpio was running a ported version of Forza Motorsport 6 that had received no further optimization for this specific Scorpio hardware to this point. And as you see, it renders at native 4K resolution and the GPU load is under 70%, which means the hardware easily reaches the goal. With optimization, I can imagine the GPU load being 10 or more % lower for this specific scenario. So this is pretty impressive stuff. But what about the Xbox One games that are already out there? Assume there is no patch for the specific games from the developers, then the Scorpio will still improve the current game. It will deliver locked frame rates for games which suffer in intense scenes from frame rate drops, and it will have a 16x texture filtering instead of 4x on the Xbox One, which makes, for example, ground texture look blurry and muddy in the mid distance. So 16x is definitely better than 4x. And the loading times will be faster. We don't know how much faster, but they should be faster. So, from what I've heard until now, it all sounds pretty good. My biggest fear was that the CPU will bottleneck the GPU, but as it seems, Microsoft found a good solution for that. It seems that we will have a more powerful console than the PS4 Pro, which will, like the PS4 Pro, improve the resolution of the games and will probably be able to deliver native 4K on more games than the PS4 Pro due to the Scorpio's plus in power. Should you all get super excited about this stuff? Well, that's up for you to decide based on the information I gave you. What is safe to say though is that the Scorpio will indeed be the most powerful gaming console, but only if it utilizes the power it apparently has. So that remains to be seen. But it's already a very good sign that Microsoft invited Digital Foundry, an independent channel, to get a first look at the console, which means they feel pretty good about themselves. And keep in mind, Microsoft really screwed up the launch of the Xbox One, so they definitely have to make up for this and for the fact that the majority of games looked a bit worse and performed worse on the Xbox One than on the PS4, except for exclusives, of course. That's something that should not sit well with them. But what about price and release date? Well, we still don't know anything about the price tag, but I assume the console to be definitely more expensive than the PS4 Pro. My guess, I think it will ship for $499. And a release date is also still unknown, but Q4 was again confirmed. So my guess here is November. Well guys, okay, so here you have it. That's my first reaction to the Scorpio specs and what it can maybe do. Like and subscribe if you find the video helpful, and until next time.